What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and this case keeps getting more weird and more weird. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you want me to stay on all of the latest with this, and if you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow the channel. It helps immensely. It's hard to find these videos, especially given the topic, and I would greatly appreciate your support. Now, some very interesting new news came out as the family of the accused has decided to make it public that they're not going to spend the $400,000 plus that they've raised, apparently, for their kid's legal defense. They're going to make sure they get a new house and pay for security because people have been saying mean words to them. Now, I don't know. Given that Karmelo has been set free, it seems like they have all the protection they would ever need, but we'll get into that. Also, it would appear that they didn't even pay their kid's bail. According to a new report, the bail was paid in its entirety by someone else. Isn't that an odd thing? I mean, what about the $450,000 that was raised? I thought you needed that for his bail fund. Make no mistake about it. This is only the beginning of the money that is going to flow into this family, as they are now trying to pretend that this is the quote-unquote exact same thing as Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm not kidding you. I've got a second video later today about the judge and about their new lawyer and about his braggadocious selfies. That's insane. Let's get into this story. Huge shout out to everyone who's picked up their Coffee Brand Coffee Mother's Day gift box over on Amazon. I'm going to leave a link in the description. We're up to 81 reviews. I know it's a little early, but definitely please consider picking that up today so you can be one of the first to leave reviews to help us navigate the Mother's Day holiday. And shout out to to Meta PCs, my computer sponsor. It's the only computer I use. It's the only computer I trust. Promo code The Quartering to save. I tweeted out this morning, blowing your kid's legal defense fund on a brand new house before his trial even begins is hilariously on brand. Now, people are rushing to defend this use of money by saying, oh, they didn't buy this place, they rented it. Well, isn't that convenient? Now, I wonder if they were told by some counsel that renting a $800,000 house would be better because the victim's family could not reclaim that money as an asset. You know, if they bought the house, right? Let's say this trial goes completely like I expect it to, and this kid's going to walk, okay? There's still going to be a wrongful death suit that they will lose. And if they own the house, they will lose the house. It becomes an asset. So I am sure someone told them, hey, don't be buying anything right now. Lease everything so the victim's family cannot get any restitution. On top of that, this via Sarah Fields, Dominique Alexander, a felon who runs a fraudulent organization and currently represents Karmelo Anthony as his, quote, family advocate, has stated that a man named Corey Tony, the owner of No Limit Bail Bonds, has provided the entire bond amount for the 17-year-old on trial. After conducting a quick search, Corey Tony's background, he has his own past of resisting arrest. Seen below, Corey, who claims to be a pastor, has also shared misinformation regarding this case on his own social media platform. What's interesting about this is, so right now they have $500,000 in cash, okay? They moved into an $800,000 home, allegedly, for their safety, although there is some question about that. We're going to get to what his own father said they're going to do with this money, because some people say this kid already lived in a gated community. So the question is, if this kid already lived in a gated community, where exactly are they going to move that's more secure than that? Here's Dominique Alexander saying, before this day ends, I need to take a moment to say thank you. After the bond hearing and the reduction granted by Judge Angela Tucker, by the way, a conservative judge who apparently is picking tribalism over what's right or wrong here. Remember that Kyle had a $2 million bond. Remember that? They're saying it's the same thing as Kyle. Well, Kyle, who was, who was clearly at very minimum defending himself due to obvious video evidence, He had a $2 million bond, a white boy. An affluent black boy has a $250,000 bond. I don't really want to hear about white privilege. This case is going to get politicized, obviously. And, I will try to stick to the facts. Again, if they have credible threats against them and they need some level of safety to relocate, that's understandable. Do they need to move into an $800,000 home? No, they do not. Do they need to hire full-time private security? No, they do not. And do they need to lease all these things to make sure that the victim's family can't come for their assets after the fact? Well, yes, of course they do. Pastor Corey C. Tony, the owner of No Limit Bail Bonds and a respected business leader in our city, quietly stepped in and paid the entire bond amount for Karmelo Anthony free of charge. He didn't ask for recognition. Yes, he did. He didn't want the spotlight. Yes, he did. But I believe it's important to celebrate these people who show up when it matters most. This is what community looks like. We rise to the moment we stand for what's right. I also want to give a major shout out to my team, Damian Robert Adigan, who's their director of security, and our entire crew who stood in the gap today, making sure everything ran smoothly. The Next Generation Action Network is not a one-man. I mean, they're going to enrich themselves so wildly at the expense of Austin Metcalf's life and probably Karmelo Anthony's freedom. This guy's organization is going to enrich themselves bigly. Here's the truth about Karmelo. This is what he shared. It's normal for students from different schools to gather under another school's tent. That's probably the least contentious thing that he shared. The fact that he wasn't looking for trouble, that, again, it can't be known, but we certainly know after he was asked to leave that he did want trouble. The claim that one of the twins had never seen Karmelo before is a blatant lie. Well, you can't prove that. No student has the right to remove another student from a school-owned tent. Okay. Karmelo is a track athlete. The twins are not. He wasn't even expecting to see them there. What? What? Literally what? The fact that this guy has a prior conviction, I don't think really changes anything. I mean, it is what it is. We can, of course, look at the summary of events. Trespassed to another team's tent, was told to leave, stabbed the kid. In response, black people raised $500K in legal defense. Oh no, this money is not coming from the black community. I promise you that. I promise you that. They're sharing it on X. They're saying Austin Metcalf deserved it. We've seen those videos. But this is not the black community pouring money into this. This is the same people that poured money into BLM, which is self-hating white liberals. That's the reality. Okay, so let's stop pretending that the black community is putting all this money in here. Karmelo Anthony's family, following the charge, planned to use the $400,000 in donations to buy a new home and hire security amid alleged threats. Well, they've already moved into a massive 3,500 square foot home valued at over $800,000 that they are renting from Indian investors out of Frisco. This is what Give, Send, Go did. Now, this is what they're showing. They're renting this property from Meridi, Sandeep, and Mansaka Kuchikula. They're renting this home probably for $5,000 to $6,000 a month, I would guess. People saying this is the free market. People give money. Yes, people can give money to him. That's fine. They can do that. Some people are arguing, well, they said he already lived in a gated community. Maybe that's true. But then why would you need to move? Again, the Karmelo Anthony's family revealed that they don't plan to use the $400,000 for his bail or legal defense, obviously. I mean, why would they use it for that? During the hearing, prosecutors asked his father why he could not use the more than $415,000 in donated funds for his son's defense to pay the original $1 million bond. And just so you know, if you go through a bail bonds company, that's $100,000. So he still would have had $315,000 left in cash for the kid's legal defense. Just 10% of the, $1 million is to be paid, meaning Anthony will very likely be free very soon. We know he's free. His father said that the fund was supposed to be used for Anthony's legal defense, but he also disclosed that the cash should be used for security and to help the family move after threats that they have allegedly received since the killing. Now, the The judge did not ask them to prove that they had received those threats, as far as I know. This revelation comes after a spokesperson for the family said that they simply cannot leave after their address was leaked online, leading to all sorts of threats, which included images of terrible things. Now, I don't doubt that people sent crazy stuff. I just ask that, you share evidence of that. I grew up in the Gamergate era where all these feminists were grifting online about all these threats, only to find out 10 years later when the FBI actually investigated that not a single threat that they ever claimed they got really ever happened. Anthony's attorney, Michael Howard, said it would be disingenuous to say there isn't money, but if it's not a bond fund, the family needs to be able to survive. They need $500,000 to, quote, survive. I mean, the teen, wore, a gold jumpsuit, blah, blah, blah. I'm not denying that this kid was an athlete, okay? But I think it's awfully odd that, again, was he a repeat offender? We can make the argument that $250,000 bonds and house arrest is probably fine. You could make that argument. He wasn't a repeat offender. He's probably not a flight risk. Maybe you could make that argument. But I believe the standard in these cases is $1 million. And on top of that, we know, and the judge knew, that they had all the money they needed to pay this bond, and yet they reduced it anyway. This guy gets to be free, enjoying his video games, cable TV, an $800,000 very nice home, apparently moving either into that home or into an even better home. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that will be completely unregulated on how it's spent. And again, when this happened, if the left wants to say this is like Kyle, well, he had a $2 million bond and was also 17 and was also not a flight risk. And they're posting pictures like this, which is absolutely ridiculous. I've got a different video about this because it's wild to me. CJ Pierce wrote, Karmelo Anthony took a young man's life in cold blood, yet somehow he's walking the streets of Texas as a free man. Now imagine if he were white and the victim was black. BLM would be burning down whole cities. This is a disgrace.
Now, guys, I'm going to be real with y'all. White people deserve some credit today. Because why in the hell is Karmelo Anthony, that 17-year-old murderer, walking around the streets of Texas a free man? How is that even possible? This is an animal who killed a 17-year-old boy over a damn book bag, and right now in the state of Texas, he is a free man. Not only is he a free man, he is a man who is a lot more wealthier today than he was when he went into the jail cell, because the social justice warriors and BLM domestic terrorists have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in his name, because apparently murder is excusable just because he looks like us. Yeah, that's a damn shame. It's disgusting. Now imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if Karmelo Anthony was a white man.
Yeah, cities would burn. This whole case is ridiculous, and it's only going to get more crazy. Think of your mother today. Pick up your Mother's Day gift box. I'll leave a link in the description. Or if you just search Coffee Brand Coffee Mother's Day gift box on Amazon, it'll come up. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.